Sometimes the most incredible historical artifacts aren't locked away in a museum. Nope, sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, maybe on a bookshelf, looking like just another old book. Today, we're opening a true time capsule, not some metal box from the ground, but a 19th century family Bible. And you're about to see this is so much more than just a religious book.
Just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? On one side, you've got a modern Bible. It's clean, simple. You've probably seen 100 just like it in a hotel drawer. But then there's this, an object that just feels heavy with history. You can almost feel the cracked leather, see the faded gold title, the intricate brass corners holding it all together. This thing is telling a story before you even turn a single page. And that's really the big question we're digging into here. I mean, they're both called the Holy Bible. They have the same fundamental text inside. So what on earth makes them feel like they're from two different planets? Well, let's dive in and find out.
So, first things first, we have to look at this Bible not just as a book to read, but as a physical object, because its story really does start on the outside.
I mean, just get a good look at this cover. That wear and tear, that's not damage, that's data. Every crack in that leather, every spot where the brass corners have been polished smooth by hands over the decades, it all speaks to just how important this was. This book wasn't just owned, it was used. It was consulted, it was cherished, it was a centerpiece in a family's home.
Okay, so now let's actually open it up, because the second you get past that cover, you realize something pretty startling. This isn't just one book. It's more like an entire library packed into a single volume.
The title page just lays it all out there. This isn't just the Holy Bible. It's the National Comprehensive Family Bible. That word comprehensive is key. And look what it promises right underneath. Commentaries of Scott and Henry, and thousands of critical and explanatory notes. This thing was designed from the ground up to be a one-stop shop for a family's entire spiritual and intellectual life. And would you look at the pages themselves? The actual biblical verses, the part we think of as the Bible, are just those couple of columns at the top. All the rest of this dense wall of tiny text filling up the page, that's all commentary. It's historical context, analysis, cross-references. It's basically like having a whole team of scholars and theologians sitting next to you, guiding you through every single line.
So here's the bottom line. A modern Bible, it's got the sacred text, mostly for inspirational reading. But this family Bible was a complete study guide. It was built for you to sit down and do a deep, analytical dive. It gave you all the tools you needed to understand not just what the text said, but what it meant in its own time.
And believe me, this was completely intentional. The editor, a Dr. Eady, says it all right in the preface. He basically argues that a book this important, this all-encompassing, should be in every single home, becoming like a second and loved one, known to everyone simply as the Family Bible.
But the ambition of this book went even further than that. It wasn't just about explaining the scripture. It was about explaining the entire universe and all of human history through the lens of that scripture. Check this out. Tucked inside is this incredible section called a chronological index. Now, this wasn't just to help you find stories. No, this was presented as a definitive, almost scientific timeline of world history, starting from what it claimed was year one.
I mean, listen to this. To the people who owned this Bible, history wasn't some big mystery. It was a set of facts. This timeline says with absolute certainty that the world was created in 4004 BC. It tells you the exact year Cain was born, the year Enoch was translated. It even tells you that Methuselah died in 2349 BC at the ripe old age of 969, just 1 year before Noah's flood. Incredible. And this gets to a really fundamental difference in how they saw the world. For the family who owned this book, there was no real conflict between faith and history and science. It was all right here. It was all one unified, authoritative story that explained everything from the beginning of time to the world they lived in. But beyond all the commentary and the history, this Bible held an even more important story. It became a living document, a record of the very family that owned it. So after exploring everything this book contains, we have to ask the most important question of all. Right, for a family Bible, who was the family? Whose lives are actually recorded in these pages? And here's the answer. Tucked right between the Old and New Testaments are these beautifully illustrated pages, specifically designed for a family to record their own history. And these aren't just random notes in the margin. This is a purpose-built family tree, filled out in this elegant, handwritten script. Let's just take a moment and look at these names. There's George, born in 1827, and his brother, Thomas, born a year later. But then, look at the note right next to his name. Died Nov 2, 1845. He was only 16 years old. And then there's William, who died in 1864, right in the middle of the American Civil War. Births, deaths, joys, tragedies. The family's whole story is written right into the heart of their most sacred object.
So, after unboxing this incredible time capsule, what does it all tell us? What's the big takeaway here? Well, the difference couldn't be clearer. A modern Bible is about scripture for personal inspiration. This 19th century family Bible, it was an encyclopedia, a study guide, and a historical record. It was deeply, deeply personal, customized by hand, where its modern counterpart is totally anonymous and mass-produced. I mean, just think about what that means. This one single object did the job of a dozen different things we use today. It was the family's Google, their Wikipedia, their history textbook, and their Ancestry.com, all of it bound together in worn leather and held in their hands as one single sacred source of truth.
And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. Today, we have instant access to literally infinite information from countless sources. But when you see an object like this, it really makes you wonder, if one single book could be a family's entire universe of knowledge and memory, what have we gained? And maybe more importantly, what have we lost?